Welcome, everyone, to the Almost Awesome Show, episode 15. Yes, that fucking music is still loud as shit. That's why I'm screaming right now, so maybe you can hear me over it as it goes down and subsides. I keep saying every week I'm going to do something about that, and eventually I will, but I didn't do it this week. How are you guys doing this fine Wednesday? It is Wednesday, right? Yes, it's Wednesday. I get my days mixed up down here in my little hole. This fine Wednesday afternoon, we got lots of juicy stories to talk about today. A few of them I'm really looking forward to talking about. We're also going to do a trailer reaction. No movie reviews this week. However, this weekend, we got a real interesting one that might be coming your way. But some juicy stories and a really juicy trailer that just dropped out of nowhere that I've done to a movie that I guess I was looking forward to, and now I'm looking forward to even more, possibly. Doesn't mean it's good, just looking forward to it. But, per usual, or as always, I am joined by Nick from the Pleasure Emporium. How are you doing, Nick? How is everything going? What's new with you, my friend? We missed you on Saturday.
I know. I was having a time, we'll put it that way, and apparently I have a line to my, over here somewhere.
Oh, that you do.
I'm blind. I would just say I watched a movie last night. It was Honk for Jesus, Save My Soul, and all I can think about is what happens if you save your soul for Satan, or you save your soul for a sub? Can you really honk for Jesus? Is that even possible?
I'm gonna go with no, but we did see another movie that you know that relates to that could. We can't talk about that movie right now, ladies and gents, but Nick and I saw another movie. We'll leave it at that. We'll talk about it some other time. Unable to at the moment. Anyway, moving forward. Good to see you here, sir. I kind of struggled the other day, all by myself, just talking to myself. It was the shortest show that I've done thus far because I had no one to bounce anything off of.
It was still an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was. I tried to drag it out as long as I could. But there really wasn't much to talk about that day either. There was one thing I think you would have found interesting, but beyond that, just kind of a slow end of the week last week. This week, it's picked up a bit. We got some stuff to talk about and some things I'm interested in picking your brain about. But how about you guys out there? Hope you're all doing well. It looks like Caden is in the comments. Hey, what's up, Caden? And Nick is in the comments as well. He's a lot better at multitasking than I am because I can't do that shit and keep on going with all this other stuff I have going on. I'm sure more are going to join as the show goes on. But for now, I do want to say real quick to anyone out there who is watching, let's look at numbers. There are a few of you watching. There's more than just what's in the chat. I want to let everybody know I have been having some weird power issues here lately. About maybe once a day, my power will blink out. So if the show goes dark for a few minutes, that's what's happened. Just hang out, give me just a minute. Just letting you know in advance. If the show freezes,
holy water.
Be right back, because it usually just blinks out for something. It cuts everything out. It gets really dark down here. I get scared and grab my flashlight, and by the time I find it, power comes back on. I don't know why that is. I have no idea. The other day they were working on power lines in front of my house, but beyond that, I don't know.
Did they uncover a doll? Did you find Annabelle?
No. I did find a dead chicken in my yard.
Oh, nice. Was it like no head chicken? You got a head chopped off.
It was missing a wing. But that's because the dog killed it. It was one of my chickens. So I know where it came from. So I don't think anybody was doing any sacrificial shit in my yard. But could have been. I don't know.
What have you not been telling us?
The dog might be a Satanist. Who knows? I don't know. Alrighty, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and jump into this week's News Bits. Wrong way. Got my new thing. I have another logo to show off later in the show as well that I'm kind of proud of, but probably shouldn't be. But yeah, let's jump into this week's News Bits. You know, those smaller stories of the week that don't necessarily deserve their own full-on story, but we still don't want to forget about them. We want to talk about these things. It's some juicy goodness. And these things, Nick does not know what I'm about to spring on him. But we're going to just, I can't really remember. I've got them all listed here. I was actually doing my due diligence and ahead of my game this week. So let's jump into our first one, and that is that the Lord of the Rings of Power, the Amazon show that is coming here shortly, according to the showrunner, will not be influenced by modern day politics. Now, in the lead up to this show, we've been hearing an awful lot about how it may be being influenced by not just politics, but kind of 2022 and 2020, this day and age, modern day shit, just stuff, politics and other things. People have been throwing a lot of shade, as the cool kids say nowadays, towards the show, saying that that's what it's going to be, and they're ruining Tolkien's universe. Yeah. Nobody's seen it yet. Well, I think people have actually seen it now. They saw it last night. But most people have not seen it yet, so nobody knows. There have been some concerning things we've seen, just through pictures and such, but we don't really know. I think the first official, for the public to see it, viewing is tonight. Am I right?
Yeah, Cinemark's doing like a special thing where you get to watch the first 2 episodes for free, and you get $10 concession, which means you get a free small popcorn at the concession for $10.
Man, I hate that I missed that, but unfortunately I did.
I mean, you can. I have 2 tickets. You're more than welcome to come down to Miami.
I think I got something to do. I think I have to cook dinner, unfortunately. But now I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. The first 3 films, which I consider one big movie, I have long said is my favorite film ever made. Favorite series, favorite film. So you would think I'd be really looking forward to this series. I'm honestly kind of scared because of some of the things we've seen, and I'm just wondering, what are they going to do to this thing? Anything that's made nowadays, I'm kind of scared of, because it's made by like a big corporation. I'm like, oh shit, what are they going to do? Are they going to cram messages down our throat and all this and that? I get enough of that everywhere I go. Please don't fuck up the Tolkien universe. We'll find out. I don't know. What about you, Nick? What do you think about this showrunner saying it's not going to be influenced by modern day politics? Do you think that there's any truth to that? Do you think from what you've seen of the show that it is going to be full of all that shit like people have been saying? Or do you think it's been overblown and just it's going to be Lord of the Rings? What do you think? What do you think of the thing overall?
There is a little bit of politicking in Lord of the Rings, a little bit, not like a lot. Like there is like the whole in Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, when they ban the Fellowship or whatever.
Well, yeah,
there's a little bit
politics,
but it's not.
But it's
yeah,
not,
but it's not like
it's
not like
tied to a
Trump
certain
or
time.
Biden. It's not like we're searching for blah blah blah. We're searching for blah 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 L's computer or some shit. It's just like if there's some intrigue. Like I don't mind politics in a show because there is some intrigue to it. But the whole point of Lord of the Rings is about a fucking ring. And the ring is a fucking powerful entity. And though I want to see more than the ring itself, that's what it's always been about. It's about controlling populations and humans, or like different cultures and different things. Mm-hmm. But it's never really been about like here's a system of government and like they're going to, cause one side to control another side. I don't need that in Lord of the Rings. I want a fantasy. I don't, if we want politics, go watch Game of Thrones. That's politics. That's politics at its most fraught or whatever.
And Lord of the Rings, well, the Tolkien universe. We refer to it as Lord of the Rings. It's not just Lord of the Rings. The Tolkien universe definitely does have politics in it, but it's not our politics. It's political intrigue and stuff with it, kind of like Game of Thrones does. Game of Thrones does, for the most part. It's very part of that universe. It's not taking like modern day or even like an algorithm for some other time in our history. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's about that world. And Lord of the Rings Tolkien does have that in his universe, but that's how it's remained timeless, because it's not referencing something that's like in our actual world. It's all fresh and all new. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm kind of worried that since it does have, I'm worried of what they're going to do with that in this version. Who knows? I think it premieres officially this tonight, but officially on Amazon. What is it, like this Friday or something like that, or Thursday?
No, it premieres tomorrow.
Oh, so it's going to theaters and okay. Well, I will watch it.
Yeah, they're doing like a special one night to get. What they're doing is they're trying to amp up the series that they spent $500 million on to make people watch this thing, because if the series sucks, but if they can get people to watch this, even like a few hours early, it's worth it to them. So
sure. Well, I'll definitely watch it tomorrow when it comes out, or late tonight, whenever it is, and I guess I know where everybody's going to get the first 2 episodes. I think within the first 2 episodes, I'll be able to tell if it's going to have a lot of that shit in it. And if it doesn't, great. I'm looking. Then I'll just be able to look at it and say, okay, is it going to be any good? Is this going to be The Hobbit or is this going to be Lord of the Rings? We'll find out. I don't know, ladies and gents. But the showrunner, I don't have their name down here. I didn't really care. Is saying that apparently no, it's not going to have modern day politics in it. However, admittedly, we've heard that from studios before. That it's not. No, it's not going to have this and that in it. And what do you know? It does at the end of the day.
Damn you, George Lucas.
Yeah, but so we'll see here soon. All right, next. Xbox Game Pass. I like Xbox Game Pass. You like Xbox Game Pass or Game Pass? I guess they dropped the. There is still an Xbox Game Pass, but there's just Game Pass because there's Xbox and PC and just they want you in Game Pass over there at Microsoft. Well, we reported a few weeks, maybe a month or so ago, that the family plan was being tested out in Ireland and somewhere else. I can't remember. Some other country other than America. They're testing out the family plan. And just here recently, the Xbox Game Pass friends and family branding has surfaced. It was a leak from, I'm not sure who, but they found this logo that pretty much, it's just the Xbox Game Pass logo. And under it, it says friends and family. Why this is a thing is because we've been hearing the term family plan or whatever all this time, but now they're saying that, oh no, it could be your friends too. And apparently going off of how it's working over in Ireland and whatever the other country was that they're testing this in right now, as long as you're within the same country, they give no fucks what 5 people are using this plan. And apparently over there also it costs, I think it's $5 or $10 more than the Ultimate. There's Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is I think $15 a month, and the family and friends plan is just, it's either $5 or $10. It's right in, it's there. It's not more than $10, which was kind of in that sweet spot. I think I said that if they price this thing at around 20, 25 maybe, depending on how much freedom they offer you, that could work. And if they're saying that they don't give a shit, they don't care. You could be friends, it could be whoever. Give your stuff out to whoever you want, as long as you pay this this extra few dollars. I'm cool with that. I feel like, that will work. I think it's 5 extra, right? Or at least in the testing phase, you can give it out to 5 extra people or 5 extra accounts can use your Game Pass service. So those of you out there that have been on the fence about Game Pass, because you don't have to have an Xbox to use it. There's TVs out there. There's Samsung TVs and I think LG TVs now that have it built in where all you need is a controller and you can play games through the cloud and all that. There's a lot of different ways to get Game Pass at this point. It's not just Xbox. So those of you that have been interested in it, this is quite this is a very enticing deal right here, and it kind of breaks down some of those boundaries. I mean, this is kind of what they've been doing. People have been doing this with Netflix for years, but Netflix hasn't been cool with it. And recently, Netflix has started to try and crack down on it a lot more. So it's pretty neat to see a company come out and be like, "Hey, we don't give a fuck. Just pay this few extra dollars and you can do it." And I think that they're gonna see success with that, because I think if Netflix just came up and said, "Hey, we don't care if you share it with people outside your house. Here's just a premium for it. It's not too crazy. It's just a few extra dollars." Most people, for the convenience, are willing to do that. Convenience can get people to pay a lot. I mean, look at pirating music. Pirating music went way down when they started streaming music and having these streaming plans like through Zune originally, and then Apple started doing it, and all these other, where it's so easy. It's just so convenient to go in there and just click on this thing and get the music. It's kind of like, I don't really want to go searching and download on like LimeWire and Napster and all that. When it's just, I pay like a really small amount and I get it right there. So hopefully...
Remember...
What's up?
No, I say, you remember the days of bootlegging where you would like go to I don't know, a shady person or shady dealer or whatever, and they would have like a movie that was like recorded in theaters, and now it's just like everything's everywhere. Like you can go and click on a button and there it is for you.
There was crazy. A gas station down the street from where I used to live, and the guy, you go to the counter and like he'd offer you cam videos of like movies that were out. I remember it was like 300 was one of them. He was like, my friend, have you seen the 300? My friend, I have it right here. $5. You can have the 300. Like, he was always trying to sell me like bootleg copies of movies and stuff. I was like, no, man, I'm good, thanks. I always thought that was pretty funny. When I worked in the hotel business, there used to be a guy who came in with a bunch of bootleg stuff. He didn't just have movies. He had movies. He was like the guy on Friday, I think it was. He'd come up, he'd be like, I got CDs, DVDs, movies, but he also had like Louis Vuitton bags, but they weren't really Louis Vuitton, all that stuff. He came into the lobby and tried to sell that shit to people. So, yeah, those days are, I mean, I'm not going to say totally gone. Go over to China. That shit's rampant, but that's how you make it. That's how you beat piracy. Make it convenient.
Yeah.
Make it fucking convenient. And I'm glad to see that that's what they're doing here. Alrighty. Breaking Bad. I think that's a show a lot of people know. And also the follow-up, which I have not seen. I've seen Breaking Bad, but Better Call Saul, which is coming to an end now. So since Better Call Saul is coming to an end. Yeah,
that's the next sequel. Better Saul Call.
Since it is either coming to an end or has just come to an end. I think it just came to an end. People are asking its creator, Vince Gilligan, what's next? And Vince Gilligan has said that his next show, which he is working on a show, will be sci-fi. And it will not be about an anti-hero. That's really all we have on it. That's why it's here in the news bits and not its own story. But apparently, if you've liked that storytelling style of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and he was involved in some other show too. I can't remember, but
X-Files.
Oh yeah, X-Files. He did mention he mentioned X-Files. He said he was wanting to get back to those X-Files roots and do some stuff like that.
That's cool.
It's not going to be. I don't think he did say it's going to take place on another world, or the way he's real cagey with his wording. But he made it sound as if it is going to take place on another world, but it is going to be grounded, he said, much like his X-Files days. So he will be getting back to those X-Files roots, not necessarily doing X-Files, but that kind of more grounded sci-fi, if you will. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't seen Better Call Saul, but I know it's pretty much, it's a Breaking Bad spinoff. So I've heard great things about it.
Yeah. There's parts where it's actually better than Breaking Bad, but I'm not fully finished. I have the last season, like one more episode, the 5th season to finish. But it like Vince Gilligan is like one of the best working creators in Hollywood right now. Yeah. So I can't wait for his new series.
My oldest daughter watches Better Call Saul, and she raves about it. I haven't watched it yet, but Breaking Bad I loved. I thought Breaking Bad was awesome. I thought it had a great end. That was just a great show from beginning to end, I thought.
Yeah.
So I will check out Better Call Saul eventually. But yeah, I'm a big sci-fi fan. It's probably my favorite overall genre. So to see this great type of storytelling going to sci-fi, I'm really excited about. He did, however, say he is not totally against visiting the Breaking Bad universe again. Mainly if this new venture doesn't work out, he's got to have something to fall back on. So I was like, hey, you know what? At least he's being real about it. He pretty much said, yeah, if this shit don't work out, yeah, you'll see more Breaking Bad universe stuff. So either way, we're getting more of that good, rich Breaking Bad-esque storytelling from Mr. Gilligan, but we're going to be getting some sci-fi soon. No word on what the story is, where it's going. He said he is shopping it around right now. But I imagine that every studio out there is going to be willing to jump on, and they're going to want to get on that quickly. I think he's been working with AMC. Isn't that where Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is?
Yeah.
So I would think that AMC would be stupid for not jumping on that, but we'll see. Maybe they ain't got sci-fi costs money, so maybe they ain't got the money for it. Speaking of sci-fi, Nick, have you watched Picard, the Star Trek show?
Do a quick shot on me real quick.
Sure.
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
And we'll never watch it.
Oh.
No, I heard so many terrible things about it. So I love Star Trek: The Next Generation. I love it a lot. I think it's like one of the best sci-fi shows ever created. I've heard nothing but bad things about Picard. So you know what? I have no interest in it. I don't want to see a ruined version of Picard. All right. I love Patrick Stewart. Yeah, no.
Well, I've watched every single show of Star Trek, from the original, all the movies, all the way up to, was it Enterprise? That was the prequel one, right?
Yeah, Enterprise was the prequel, and now they have one that's based off what's his face, Discovery, the guy who. And yeah, they got. I haven't seen any of those. I have not seen the more recent ones, but I had seen all the ones up to or after, through rather.
Enterprise. Now, everything that came after that, I've seen the movies, the J.J. Abrams movies and whatnot, but I'm a Star Trek fan as well, and a Star Wars fan. Craziness, I know. But I am a Star Trek fan. Star Trek The Next Generation, probably hands down, is the best Star Trek show, in my opinion.
Dude.
Started out rough. Admittedly, season 1 was rough.
When they got rid of Picard's hair, it was like all uphill from there. Yeah. So,
but season 1's rough. It's not bad, but it's comparably speaking, it's rough. But man, that is a great show. Well, it's funny you mentioned Star Trek: The Next Generation and talking about Picard, because Picard is going into its third and final season apparently. Picard season 3 is starting soon. Well, we don't know in exactly what capacity, but Tasha Yar is said to be returning for Picard Season 3. And some are saying that she will be one of the main antagonists or the main villains. Maybe not the main villain, but she is going to be one of them. I do recall Tasha Yar was Denise Crosby. She died. She was the, I think, security chief or something like that. She died from that big slug monster in Season 1. She was one of the ones that a lot of people hated to see her go. They had the big eulogy. She showed up a few other times. She had like an alternate universe sister or something like that. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah. I just looked her up. Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a very popular character that was not on the show for very long, and like people wanted to keep her around. I'm not gonna lie, because I watched Star Trek TNG when it first came out. I wasn't as into it then, but I did watch it a lot when it first came out. Not a lot on TV back when I was a kid, and I didn't like her character. I did not like Tasha Yar. So when she died, I was like, okay, I'm good. But people have been like saying they wanted her back for a long time, so much so that she did come back to the show, but as a different character. I want to say an alternate universe version or sister or something like that. She even ended up being like a Romulan at one point. And that may be who she's coming back as in Picard. We don't know, but she is coming back in more than just a cameo. She will be returning for Picard Season 3. It's really all we got on it. For those of you out there... What's that?
And I have to say, this feels like Cobra Kai. We were talking about Cobra Kai earlier because I got the next season to watch, which I can't talk about. But this feels like the Cobra Kai seasons where they bring back like Terry Silver and Chosen from like the 2 sequels. That's what this feels like. It feels like they're desperate to bring back somebody that really wasn't popular, to bring him and make him popular, because last season, as Terry Silver was actually pretty decent as a character in the series. So that's what it feels like.
Well, they're also, it was already confirmed apparently, because I have not seen Picard and I don't follow the show. Not to say I won't watch it eventually, but I haven't watched it. I love Patrick Stewart, but just haven't watched it. They are apparently, it was already announced that much of the TNG team, the Next Generation crew, Jonathan Frakes, I can't remember everybody's name right now, but a lot of the people from that show are coming back to this season in some capacity. I don't know what. I don't know where their characters lay within this timeline or what's going on with the show, but they apparently are coming back to reprise their roles in some capacity during this farewell Season 3. Because I imagine that this is going to be the last Star Trek The Next Generation linked show we get in the Star Trek universe ever. I mean, there's not going to... everybody figured it was all done, but then they brought Picard back, so I doubt we're going to see any more of the TNG team after this, so I guess they're trying to go all out, which could be cool. I mean, that could actually make me get to want to watch it. I didn't like Tasha Yar, but bringing all this back, I mean, it could be neat. I might actually check out Season 1 and see what I think of it at some point. I've heard very mixed things about it, much like you said, but Star Trek fans, you're going to get some... They're going to go out with it. They're trying to go out with a bang with Picard Season 3 coming soon, just FYI. All right, so... Harry Potter. You like Harry Potter, Nick?
I love Harry Potter.
You love Harry Potter, okay. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She's had some controversy over the past few years. I'm not here to talk about that controversy. She has her thoughts on things, and, I do think that, from what I've read, I don't know enough about the situation to really comment much. I do think that some of the things she said have been twisted a bit, but then I think some of the shit she said was kind of twisted itself. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm not here to judge that woman. It's not my place to. She has Had some controversy. Let's just go with that. Well, they had
Just a little bit, yeah.
20th anniversary of Hogwarts, the cast reunion on HBO Max earlier this year. I think right there at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And she was a no-show. She didn't show up. Everyone assumed that it was because HBO Max, Warner, whoever said, no, you're not. We don't want you here, and you can't be there. Apparently, that is not the case. We are finding out that she has just put out why J.K. Rowling didn't attend the 20th anniversary, because she said she didn't want to. She said she was offered an opportunity to come on, and apparently this was corroborated by someone else that, yeah, they asked her to come, and she decided that the wording is interesting, because she says that this seemed like it was more about the books, or more about the films than the books, which it obviously was. And she said, I was more a part of the book series. I appreciate the films. I was involved in them, but, you know, it just didn't seem like I needed to be there. What it seemed like to me was she was like, I don't feel like putting up with that shit, because it's going to be a non-stop shit show of here and stuff. So regardless of what you think of her or not, she said to herself, it ain't worth it. I'm not going. Because it probably would have been. If she had shown up, I do feel like, and maybe I'm thinking the best of people. I'd like to think that maybe, oh, my camera just froze. Hang on. Sorry.
Yeah, we got a sexy picture of Jake. Now we can like Photoshop his face. Oh my God, Jacob's gone. What do I do? What do I do?
I do not know why.
I can't. I'm like, I'm like the. Well, I was gonna say I'm like the Wayne to your or Garth to your Wayne. Like when Wayne leaves, I'm like.
If you spew in this. No, I don't know why my camera has been doing that recently. It's like it loses power and just freezes. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, hopefully it's the cable, not the camera. Anyway, what I was saying, I don't think that, or I think the best of people sometimes, and I shouldn't, it gets me in trouble. I'd like to think that she was saying, you know what, this is a celebration of these films and just this work and everything. If I go there, that is going to be what takes over the whole thing. And I don't want to do that. Let's let them celebrate that, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if that's where she was coming from, but I would like to think that that's what it was. She just said in her words, no, I don't feel as if I was needed there. It wasn't worth it. So, not really a lot to talk about there, I guess. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that, you know, without getting too deep into that whole situation with her, what are your thoughts? Do you think that there's any credence to this? Do you think what do you think is going on here?
She may be telling the truth, but she's like the creator. She's literally the creator of Harry Potter. I don't know what she's talking about. It's like you know me saying, "Oh, it's the 25th anniversary of the Fifth Dimension podcast." You know, I don't want to be on because I don't feel like I want to take away from you and Triv on the podcast. I'm like that doesn't make any sense. You are literally the mind of Harry Potter, saying that you don't want to be on it because you want to focus on the movies. They're gonna have plenty to talk about with the people of the movies. Like she's still important to it, even though she says some stupid shit. It's just I don't know.
Well, yeah, and the one thing that does lead a little bit of credence to it for me is that she didn't have a hand in writing the films. I'm sure she was a consultant on some or all of them, but she didn't have as much of a hand in the films, of course, because they're adaptations of her work. But she does have writing credit, and she did have a hand in the Fantastic Beasts films. That might tell us something. I don't know, but she did show up to the premiere of the latest the Dumbledore Secrets of Dumbledore film. She was there, shown on the red carpet. She didn't really talk to anybody, but she showed up, posed for some pictures, and then walked in. So she did show up for that, and she was more involved in that. So I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I guess the point of this story is that, no, she was not told she couldn't come. She decided herself not to come. What her end of the day reasoning was for that, I don't know. But honestly, and I hate to say this, because, like I said, I don't know enough about the situation to really comment on it in any way. It was probably for the best, because it would have her showing up would have taken all the thunder away from this thing. I didn't really watch this. I didn't care that much. I like Harry Potter, but I didn't care to see a reunion. But I feel like whatever thunder it had, that would have taken. It would have been all about that. So probably best that she didn't show up. And that I don't know. what is going on with her and what all that, if it was justified, if it's not, if it's been blown out of proportion. But it sucks that somebody who is involved, is, like you said, the father or mother of this work, just the sheer fact of them showing up can ruin something like that. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting too deep into it now. But anyway, she didn't go because she decided not to. So there's that. Put that to rest. Speaking of somebody else that is marred in controversy, and there was a public spectacle of them. Chris Rock. We've heard of Chris Rock. Sure you know Chris Rock. It was the slap heard across the world.
Yeah. He's the end of the joke for what the five fingers say to the face.
Yeah. It was the slap that ended the war in the Ukraine. Ooh, hot take. Yeah. It didn't end the war, honestly. Just it ended everybody talking about it. Let's just say that. Just say how finicky we are here talking about bullshit. But whatever. It was, Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith at this year's Oscars. Everybody saw it. If you didn't see it when it happened, you saw it afterwards. You saw a meme of it, that's for sure. Well, he apparently was asked to come back for the 2023 Oscars after that happened, and he said, nope, not doing it.
Yeah, now he's going to get flat. They're just going to have a murderer's row of people just slapping him. He's like, slap, slap, slap. It's like, it's going to be like Airplane.
That scene from...
Airplane.
Is it Airplane? No, the newer movie that he was in. That he was the movie with Chris Rock, and Bernie Mac gets off the train. Head of
of the state. Yeah,
and he comes in and he starts slapping everybody. Yeah, there's actually been a meme of Will Smith doing that to people, saying it was Will Smith after the Oscars. But anyway, he was asked to host the 2023 Oscars, and apparently he will not be doing so. He said he likened it to, and I didn't get this reference as much because I guess maybe I just don't know enough about my OJ trial, but he likened it to Anna Nicole Smith returning to the restaurant where she left her glasses the night she got murdered. I don't know. I guess that would be maybe is that a situation to where if she had done that she wouldn't have gotten murdered? I don't know. I didn't know that part about the OJ trial. I mean, I was there when OJ, not there, but I was alive and seeing that stuff on the news when it happened. But whatever. But Chris Rock, he ain't doing it. He said nope, not interested. Not interested in putting myself up there again and getting beat up. I doubt that would happen again, but, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. All right. Well, I mean, I guess, do you think that this is a loss to the Oscars, Nick? Do you think that they're taking a loss here with Chris Rock not being a part of 2023?
No, not at all. Oscars have much more problems than fucking Chris Rock not being on the show.
I think it is. That's the most people have talked about the Oscars in 15 years.
That's true.
They're like, please come back. We will pay 3 people to come up there and slap your ass, and we'll pay you extra money. Jesus Christ. Please come back. Please, we will pay you how much you want. Because ain't nobody talked about the fucking Oscars, really. Outside of like groups like ours, nobody gave a shit about the Oscars for at least 15 years. Chris Rock gets slapped, and holy shit, it's a thing. So yeah, they want his ass back. They want him up there. Anyway... The Sandman. We talked about that brief. Well, we've actually talked about it a few times. It's a popular Netflix show right now. You said you watched a little bit of it, weren't really feeling it. I have not watched any more of it. Hang on just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Just a second.
Dreaming, you
were
know.
Muted.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
I hit the mute button and it mutes both of us. Sorry.
Oh, so people are like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Yeah, they're like, his mouth's moving, but nothing's coming out. Like literally. Sorry, my wife needed the keys to the car. She's going to get my daughter anyway. Yeah, break the show. Should have done that before. Hell, where the hell was I?
Sandman.
Sandman. Okay, so you watched a bit of it. It wasn't for you.
Yeah. Right.
I watched a bit more of it. I liked it. What I saw had its issues, but I thought, okay, I want to see where this is going. Still haven't finished it, but I do plan on finishing it. Well, there's been a lot of Sandman news coming out here recently. And that is because this show they've been trying to get the show made since the 90s. And apparently there was like this whole script that was put out there that was so ridiculous. It's from the guy who tried to make the Superman movie with Kevin Smith and the giant spiders. And apparently there was a giant spider in that Sandman version as well. Just FYI.
Oh, Jesus.
But there was, I don't know if it was that version, but there was a version they were trying to get made. And apparently Neil Gaiman got called and they said, hey, we got this version. You know, we're working on Sandman. There's somebody who is requesting to play Sandman. Who do you think, say, circa 1995, 6, 7, 8, who would you say that would be famous then, would be calling them up, calling the studio saying, I've got to play the Sandman, please, vying for it hardcore?
Trying to think of 90, Johnny Lee Miller, Skeet Ulrich, whoever was in Empire Records. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
No, you way off. You way off.
Charlie Sheen.
Let me give you a rendition of how it went. This person called him and said, I can't remember, was it Neil? Yeah, we'll go with Neil. Let's just say this person called Neil Gaiman, said, hey Neil, whoop, I really want to play this part. I gotta be Sandman. I think I can do it. We can get all the little boys and girls in there. They can be with me and Sandman. I'll put them to sleep. They'll go to sleep in Neverland in my house.
Oh my God.
That's
Michael
right,
Jackson?
mofos. Michael Jackson apparently was
It almost
vying
sounded like Mike Tyson there for a second. I was like, wait a minute, I had to think about this.
No, there wasn't enough lisp in it. He would have been like, hey Neil, this is Mike. I wanna if you don't let me be the Sandman, I'm gonna come in there, I'm gonna just right across you. And leave my fucking tiger alone, bitch. Anyway, no, Michael Jackson, the other Mike. The other Iron Mike.
Michael Jackson. Holy shit.
Michael Jackson was apparently going hard for this shit. Would not leave them alone. Blowing up their phones saying, I want to be Sandman. He wanted to play Morbius. Morpheus, not Morbius. It's Morbin time.
Morbius.
He wanted to play Morpheus, like, hard. And he was, like, really pushing it. But fortunately, and the funny thing is they weren't opposed to it. They weren't saying, no, Michael Jackson. They were saying, maybe. But maybe unfortunately, I don't know, that could have been interesting, but we'll just say unfortunately the show was or the adaptation rather was, they put the kibosh on it and we did not ever get it. It wasn't just because of Michael Jackson, it was because whatever the screenplay, all that, it just didn't work out because that thing's been in purgatory, production hell for decades. Yeah, that would be. Oh my God! If I had thought of that, I would have put a video together. He burst in with like sand flies out, and he goes. That would have been.
Do you think he
amazing.
thought the Sandman was like a thing that would save children or something like that, like Little Nemo's Slumberland or whatever?
The Sandman. The Sandman puts all the little boys and girls to sleep. That could be me. I'll go and put them in bed and say, good night, little Billy. I don't know why it's turning into that guy, the old guy from fucking Family Guy all of a sudden.
Yeah, you got the whistle in there. God damn. Yeah, talk about a show that would insist upon itself.
I want to see that, really. I mean, we're never going to, obviously, but I would love to have seen that. But Michael Jackson wanted to be Sandman. So imagine that show that Netflix has right now, but Michael Jackson in the main role instead of whatever that guy's name is. So it could have been. That could have been what happened in an alternate universe somewhere. In the multiverse, Michael Jackson is Sandman. Just keep that in mind. Alrighty. One last thing here on our news bits for the day, and we're going to talk about probably not one last time, let's be real, but it should be one last time because they need to shut their fucking doors and stop letting shit out the door. Information, that's Warner Brothers. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery for just a second. This is just a small little story that could develop into a very large thing, and that is that Legendary Pictures could be leaving Warner Brothers. Now, some of you that aren't as in the know might be like, okay, so that's big for Warner Brothers. Legendary Pictures has been developing. They are a partner with Warner Brothers. They are not part of Warner Brothers. They have a contract where their films, they make the movies. Warner Brothers gives them some extra money, financing, and things like that, and then Warner Brothers releases the movies. Some of their movies would be Godzilla vs. Kong, one of the highest rated or one of the highest grossing films of last year. Or is that this year? Last year.
Last year. Yeah.
Dune, one of the highest rated movies last year, also did well financially. They've done the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. All three of them. Did they have a part in The Batman? I think they do. I think they did. I'm not sure, but they definitely did the Christopher Nolan ones.
Yeah.
I don't have a list in front of me, but Legendary has made a lot of very well-received movies. Now, not everything has been. They've had some slip-ups, but their track record, especially as of late, has been very good, and their films all go to Warner Brothers. Well, they were not happy with how Warner Brothers put everything day and date last year, especially...
That's an understatement.
Yeah, especially... They took them to court. Especially with Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong. And their contract is running out. So now, they got options. Legendary is on the table, and you best believe it is other studios are going to be vying for them. Apparently, Paramount and Sony are the main contenders. And Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is trying to keep them, by the way. But Paramount and Sony are putting together, they're trying to woo them over there. I guess my question is where this could go. I don't want to talk too much on it. Do you think, how damaging to Warner Brothers could it be if Legendary goes over anywhere? If they just leave Warner Brothers, regardless of where they go, they'll be successful, I think, wherever they go. But how damaging do you think it will be? And do you think that David Zaslav, because it is under new management, all that stuff that happened was before Zaslav and co. So it is under new management. They could use that and say, hey, guys, just give us a chance. How damaging do you think it could be if they leave? And do you think that Warner Brothers can actually keep them around?
Honestly, I think the more damaging thing happened is when Christopher Nolan left Warner Brothers, because he's been with Warner Brothers since like his second movie or whatever. Honestly, studio or companies like this leave all the time, so it won't be that damaging. Warner Brothers has way more problems right now than just Legendary leaving them. Legendary, the big thing is, will Legendary keep
more problem? They need some wins.
Yeah, no, I know, but the problem is like I can't remember if Legendary owns the rights to Godzilla vs. Kong, because I know there's an Apple TV Plus series coming, but I honestly look at like DreamWorks. DreamWorks went to like Paramount or some shit. They like switched from like Universal to Paramount. I mean, this shit happens all the time. So this is the biggest thing about this is just what happened last year with they weren't even told that the Godzilla vs. Kong was going straight to HBO Max in theaters. It was like they never said anything about it. It's another thing to put a black eye on Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers at this point is just I've said it before. I'm putting faith into Warner Brothers on the simple fact that they're trying to correct everything to that the last company AT&T did to them, but I don't know. I don't want to.
I mean, they're like that fast food restaurant that's been around in a town for like decades, and everybody hates because it just sucks. But everybody goes there because it's just been there so long, and they're there. But now they got out on their like marquee under new management. It's like, is that going to make a difference? We don't know. We've seen this before, Warner Brothers. We've seen this before, Taco Bell. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this could be bad for them. I mean, like I said, their biggest hits of last year were Legendary Pictures movies. It just is what it is. The Batman, I can't remember if the Batman is through Legendary or not. I think it is. I think Legendary had something to do with that. I can't remember. But I know they definitely had something to do with Godzilla and Kong. And now they are working on sequels to both of those big movies from last year that are contracted through Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers will get them. But maybe Dune 2 is a big, huge thing. And there's more Dune sequels. They might not be through Warner Brothers. Because I'm not sure who owns those rights. Is it Legendary? Is it Warner Brothers? I don't know. Legendary is the one who makes the movies. They just take extra financing from Warner Brothers for them to distribute them. So, I mean, Warner Brothers is
Legendary, they did not produce the Batman.
Okay. Well, there's that, I guess. But who knows when the Batman 2 is coming out? It's going to be years away, they've already said. But I do think that this would be... it hurt. I don't think it's going to put Warner Brothers... Warner Brothers is going to be around for a while. They ain't going nowhere. But it is going to be, once again, one more black eye One more thing they have to come back from. So I do think that they need to do. David Zaslav needs to get in there and just do whatever he needs to do to keep Legendary there, because Legendary, they have a proven track record at this point to where they get some. I mean, regardless if you think they're good movies or not, they are successful movies. And that's what Warner Brothers needs, is successful movies. Not good movies, successful movies. That is just the business of it all. Okie dokie, everybody. That is this week's news bits. A little bit longer than I planned, but let us know what you thought about any of those stories. Are you looking forward to the Rings of Power? You looking forward to getting you some Game Pass now that the family can get in on it too? I'm excited about that. Got a bunch of fucking Xboxes in my house. Are you looking forward to Tasha Yar? Her epic return? Chris Rock not at the Oscars 2023? Oh no, Michael Jackson is Sandman in the alternate multiverse. I'm really looking forward to that one. And Legendary Pictures could be saying, fuck you, Warner Brothers. Any of those stories you want to talk about, let us know in the comments below. Let's move forward onto our first story of the day. And that would be, there we go, Resident Evil, the Netflix show. We finna talk about it one more time. This probably will be the last time we talk about this motherfucking show. Now, if you weren't aware,
I hear taps playing.
yeah. I did not like this show. Nick
did not
like
finish
this
the
show so much he did not finish the show. I gave him a brief rundown of what he missed. I think you missed, what, the last 3 episodes? Didn't you watch through
Blade.
5? Yeah, that's a true travesty there. So before it leaves Netflix, you need to get on there, but and see Blade. Well, it's no news, no big news here, because I actually missed this. I mentioned this on Saturday on the show, on another, I think I was talking about another show that was coming along. I mentioned that Resident Evil, and it is true, Resident Evil as of Friday has been canceled. After just 1 season, the Resident Evil Netflix series based on the mega popular video game franchise of the same name was canceled this past Friday. Okay, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised if we got a season 2 either, but I'm not surprised that it got canceled, because most people were saying, hey, this show kind of sucks, because it did. It was not a good show. We did get something amazing from it, which we will talk about in a few minutes, but it just wasn't a good show. However, Lance Reddick, which I personally and many people have said was probably the best part of the show. Like, anytime he was on screen, it wasn't always good what was happening, but I was like, Lance Reddick's always awesome, because he always is. He took to Twitter. I think it was Twitter. He took to the internets to talk briefly about it, and he had some comments. Nick, what do you think he had to say? What do you think Mr. Reddick had to say about Resident Evil? Was it good stuff?
That it was the most life-affirming, changing thing he ever did, that he will never not remember it. Now he's off to get a beer.
Not too far off.
I really don't know.
Well, our good boy Lance, our good fine fellow Lance. I love Lance Reddick. I think he's awesome in everything he's in. If you haven't seen it, check out Toys for Me. The was it comedy or Funny or Die? Funny or Die.
Yeah.
On YouTube, look up Toys for Me. It's like the Manager from Hell skit with Lance Reddick. That's all you need right there. That is all the Lance Reddick you need in your life, and there's much more. But anyway, Lance Reddick he actually did a video. I don't have the video, but he said, here's a few excerpts of what he said. He said, we worked our asses off and had a great time. Okay, that's cool. I get that. Even if I didn't like the show, yeah, I'm sure you put in a lot of hard work and had a good time doing it. And he went on to thank the crew, executive producers, and cast members. You know what? I think that's fine. That's good. I mean, whatever you wanted to say was fine, but that's cool. You know, you worked on this thing. It didn't work out, but you had a good time with it. And like I said, the best parts of the show were when he was involved. When he was on screen, I was like, this is good shit. I'm enjoying this more than the rest. He also went on and he thanked the fans for their love and support. However, in the same breath, Reddick also took the time to call out the trolls and haters that the series faced throughout its short lifespan. Lance, what are you doing?
Stop blaming people for shit.
Yeah, come on.
Like,
man.
That's the problem. Come on, man. Lance, you're my boo, man. Come on, man. Crazy.
They weren't trolls and haters. They weren't. I'm not a troll and a hater.
Some probably,
in fact,
but not all.
Yeah, there's always some. But, you know, as a whole, look, I've been accused of a lot of things in reviewing things and giving my opinions on films, especially on films and shows, especially when they deal with a current existing IP. People have said that I'm too easy on things, i.e. the Halo series. People talked about how I gave that too much of a pass and how I was just, somebody said I was paid for it. I was not, but I wish I was. If I was, I'd tell you. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I was. What you gonna do? But no, I was not paid for that. It was just my genuine opinions. I typically will watch something, and if it's not egregiously bad, I will give it some room to wiggle. If it's an adaptation, I'm cool with that. I get it. I like the original Resident Evil movies, except for 2 and 7, or 2 and 6. Those sucked. But the other ones,
whoa. Hey, two's awesome. What are you talking about? Oh my
God, we're going to have a
crazy. I quit the show. You're bashing on Apocalypse.
You can't quit. You're going to get fucking fired if you say stupid shit like that. No, I hated Apocalypse and I hated Final Chapter. But Final Chapter I hated more. I'll say it is the worst. But I digress. We're getting all sidetracked.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to like this show because I'm a big Resident Evil fan. And of the movies, the game, all of it. I wanted to, and I kept on giving. Ask Nick. He watched it with me. We got to season 5 or episode 5, and he was like, "I'm just not." And I was like, "No, maybe it'll get better." I was like, "I'm gonna watch it." I watched it all the way through, and I didn't have to, but I did because I just wanted it to get better. And I will say the show did get better after episode 5, but it never got great, and it didn't make up for the other 5 episodes that sucked balls. There weren't haters, no more than usual. They weren't trolls and haters. For the most part, they were just people that did not like this show that the vast majority of people just said wasn't good. And it's not even that you changed Resident Evil stuff. It's just, even if it wasn't Resident Evil, which it didn't seem like, honestly, but even if it wasn't a Resident Evil property, nobody would like the show. It just wasn't very interesting. It was boring. Nothing really fucking happened until the very end. That's why that's why I got canceled. Right there. There you go.
Yeah. I look at it this way. When I don't even remember what happened on the show, this is a month ago. That's bad. Like, usually if a good TV show, you'll remember for a long time. I mean, even if it's not like the best TV show, something that's entertaining, you'll know for a long time. But I can't even tell you what happened in those 5 episodes anymore. I know Lance Reddick shows up. I know there's the boring high school drama bullshit in that, but I can't tell you what happens.
So you're saying you remember nothing?
For the most part.
Then you remember everything, because that's all that fucking happened in that show in the first 5 episodes is abso-fucking-lutely nothing.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Bad.
You remember it. Yeah. Just nothing happened.
That's probably what... I think that's the other problem is I think people were like me. I think people watched a few episodes and were like, what the fuck is this shit? And then left. And they made their voices known. I guarantee you a lot of people were like, Netflix, Resident Evil. This is the biggest problem, and Jacob, you'll agree, is Resident Evil as a video game series, Resident Evil 2 Remake, 7 and 8, fantastic fucking games. The properties that are the multimedia properties of television shows like Infinite Darkness and this and the movies. I mean, we've had the discussion before. I enjoyed Raccoon City. It's not great, but I enjoyed it for what it was. But it's just shite. It's just nothing but shite properties. They don't know what the fuck to do with this series. This is what my worry with the Last of Us TV series is. I don't think it's going to be very good. It's just the way it is. I don't know. Resident Evil just has an identity issue. So.
Yeah, and there's so much there to work with. The Resident Evil franchise, I don't give a fuck if you change shit around.
It's not a property about fucking zombies.
Yeah,
it's not about zombies. It's about a virus. Not fucking zombies. Stop putting zombies in your Resident Evil series.
Just retain the fucking spirit of it all. You could change it. Yeah. I didn't give a fuck that they went to this Resident Evil City or Raccoon City 2 in South Africa and all that shit. Whatever. I was kind of like, okay, this is new. Fine, you're doing something new. I don't care. But do something good. If you're going to do something new, do something good. If people were complaining that, oh, it's not staying, it's not being like the games. It's veering off the course of what the games have laid down and all this and that. If it was good, I'd still be like, yeah, it did. It's trying something new, but it's doing it good. No, it veered off course and it didn't do anything good because it fucking sucked. That's like a double whammy. Jesus Christ. Lance, come on, man. You're better than this. We know you are. However, all that being said, I don't need to really rant about this show anymore because it is no longer a thing. Some on a side note, some people have said that it might move to another studio or another network. No, it won't. No, it won't. It ain't going nowhere. Come on now. This thing was like universally panned. Just pretty much everybody said this wasn't good, so it ain't going nowhere else. Come on now. I mean, Resident Evil will, in a cinematic variant of it, will show up somewhere else at some point in time, but not this one. This is over. It's done. Watch. Next week we'll be doing a report that Resident Evil has been renewed over at CBS or something. No, you know,
Resident
it's
Evil
not happening.
Renewed at A24.
Yeah.
By
I'd watch
the
that.
Daniels.
The Daniels are... Anyway, there is one... I still love you, Lance. I just want to say that I still love you. I understand you put a lot of work into it. People talking shit about your work, I get it. People talk shit about my work, comments, things like that. I'm a little bit more used to it because YouTuber comments, you get used to it. But it still hurts. It hurts deep. And you want to defend yourself. You want to defend your work, so I understand. It's okay. It's all right. I don't hold it against you. I don't. Don't do it again. I don't hold it against you. But there is a sad part to this story arc here, to this cancellation. Do you know what that is, Nick? What are you saddest about on this? Let me ask you that. What are you saddest about? What's the negative? If you could pull a negative from this, what would it be?
That we're not that Resident Evil is once again proven to be a shitty property. I mean, I don't know.
No, that's not it. That's not. I mean, maybe yeah. I guess that's a bad one. Yeah, but that's not it. That's not it. It's that.
All right.
I would like us to take a moment. Bow our heads. Everyone in the chat, everyone out there watching this, bow our heads. A moment of silence. And a moment of recognition that we are no longer going to get to see Lance Reddick's Blade. He's no longer going to be with us. We knew you for such a short period of time, Blade Wesker, Lance Blade Reddick. Whatever we call you. You were the best part of the fucking show, and you were there such a short period of time. We will miss you. You will be missed, but not forgotten. God damn it. You're like a fucking Marvel movie. You come in and ruin a good moment with some bullshit. God damn it.
Now I just search for everything as you stare at the...
But yeah.
No, in all honesty, like, you gotta... Okay. As we bow our heads to Blade Reddick, you have to admit, at least they were... that this was a moment that is very Resident Evil in the fact that it's very campy. It's very stupid. It's very like punching a boulder type of scenario. I mean, yes. he's fighting himself. This to me is fucking Resident Evil. As bad as it is, this is what Resident Evil is kind of known for. Just the stupid, nonsensical bullshit that they come up with. But it's fun. At least it's a little fun. Yeah.
Yes, this was great.
Yeah.
Not good, but it was great. Yeah. This is the beginning of episode 6, I think it was. Maybe 5. I think it was episode 6. The very beginning, it starts this way. I strongly recommend anyone who is just somewhat aware of Resident Evil, even if you don't want to watch the show, just queue up episode, I'm pretty sure it's episode 5. You'll know, it happens in the first few minutes. It starts with this. If you don't get to this lab setting with multiple Lance Reddicks and then Blade Reddick shows up in the first 5 or 10 minutes, then it's wrong one. It's 5 or 6. But this is a prime example, and then we'll get out of here on this story. Okay, with this particular show, the showrunners, the people in charge of the show, the people making the show, didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but the fans don't know what the fuck they want either, because the fans are always like, "Oh, make it more like the games, make it more like the game." All right.
They did. They sure did.
This is what happens when they make it more like the games. And while I loved it because it was so bad it's good, let's be real, this was not good. So I'm like,
no, it really wasn't.
This is why you don't make it too much like the games. This is why you have adaptations and you change things. You don't have to, I understand, you don't have to change too much. You can still retain the spirit, stay in there. But this is why you change things. This scene right here, because I don't know anybody who can watch this scene without laughing. When he comes on screen, Jesus Christ.
And the funny part, this is exactly how. Well, outside of Wesker not being, Lance Reddick, this is what he looks like. But the problem is, it's Lance Reddick looking like
Yeah.
fucking Blade. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like
because
if they
typically, for those of you that don't
Lance
know,
Reddick should not be wearing leather. I'm
yeah,
sorry, it just doesn't. It's weird.
the guy, he's got that haircut going on and everything. The haircut's what really does it too. But
Yeah, his
typically,
voice.
and I don't
It's
care that
amazing.
Lance Reddick was great. I'm happy that Lance Reddick was Wesker. I don't care about this.
Yeah.
But typically in the games, Wesker is a like pasty white dude with blonde hair and blue eye, well, blue,
Dominatrix
sometimes red
looks.
eyes. And he dresses like that, but you put Lance
Yeah.
Reddick in that exact thing with that haircut. Come on. Come on. Who didn't see it? Somebody on that fucking set said, this fool looks like Blade. Don't tell him. He had to say, when he was putting it on that morning, he had to be like, yeah, I'm looking good today. Wesley? You know what I mean?
Do you think like during the set of John Wick 4 or something like that, whatever the next John Wick movie there is, they're like, "Hey, Lance, I loved you."
Yeah, they're going to talk shit.
Loved you.
Keanu Reeves is going to walk on. He's like, hey, Lance. Loved his blade, man. Whoa. When I saw
he
you
just
come
turns
on his
the
blade, I was like, whoa. Blade
He's
to
like-
the set. I mean, Lance.
He just comes in and does the funny or die. He's like, "Shut the fuck up."
All right, everybody. Yeah, that's what it is. The Resident Evil is no more. The Resident Evil Netflix show has been canceled. No more Blade Wesker. It's a tear drops. Pour one out for Lance Reddick and
I gotta bring back the picture for the.
it's going no. But no more Resident Evil. If you hated it, which is you probably did, I don't know if I haven't heard anybody say, "Oh, I loved it." But if you disliked it, well, you don't have to endure it anymore because it ain't coming back. Unfortunately, we're left with that cliffhanger forever. Whatever will we do? Let me know what you thought. Were you looking forward to Resident Evil Season 2? I mean, seriously, I really do want to know that. If somebody was, please let me know in the comments below. And if you were, why? I mean, if you liked it, you liked it. That's great. But most people did not, and I was one of them. But Resident Evil, bye-bye. All right, let's move on to our next story. And done with this one, finally. Now, this next story, I find admirable. And I found it pretty interesting, and we're going to talk about Shia LaBeouf. We're going to talk about Shia for a minute. And this is not about a specific movie or anything like that he has coming out. I got a little bit of information I want to put out. Nick, did you see Honey Boy? Came out in 2019. What'd you think of Honey Boy?
It was awesome. I loved it. It was like that and Peter Butter Falcon were fantastic. I'm like, I can't believe this guy can act.
Oh yeah, I loved.
Yeah,
I
Honey Boy
liked
was great.
Honey Boy. Honey Boy was really good, but I loved Peanut Butter Falcon. I was not expecting. I remember when I heard about that movie and went and saw it in the same day. I heard about it the day it came out, and I was like, "Huh, this looks interesting." Me and my wife went and saw it. We loved it. Honey Boy, I saw actually after it had been out for a while, but I thought it was really good too. Well, do you know what you do know that Honey Boy is based on a true story. It's based on Shia LaBeouf's childhood.
Yeah.
Part of it, at least. He was on the Even Stevens, I believe it was. He was in the business when he was younger, and apparently his mother. I'm not sure what happened with her, but she wasn't there. He was living with his dad, and his dad was trying to get him into the business and help him along. I think he was his manager too, or something like that. But the movie does not show Shia LaBeouf's dad in the best light.
Yeah, not really.
No, not at all. So he is come out. He was on a show recently, a podcast. I believe it was a podcast, and he got to talking about it. I do want to say that LaBeouf wrote and starred in the 2019 film Honey Boy. It detailed his childhood, stardom, and fraught relationship with his abusive father. He did write the movie while he was in rehab in 2017, as we all know that he publicly went through this crazy. He did an Ezra Miller, maybe not quite as bad as Ezra Miller, but he had his stretch there where he was doing some crazy shit. He was alcohol, I believe, was his major vice, and he went to rehab. And apparently, his therapist told him, "Hey, write all this stuff down. Write everything down." and he had all these journals, and that's where Honey Boy came from. He took those writings and developed a script based on those writings that he did in 2017, right around the same time while he was in rehab. So, going through a turbulent time in his life. Well, here's what he had to say on this new show, which is a little bit eye-opening. I want to put these few experts out and then see what you think. I want to discuss them real quick. I wrote this narrative, which was just fucking nonsense, LaBeouf said. My dad was so loving to me my whole life. Fractured, sure. Crooked, sure. Wonky, for sure. But never was not loving. Never was not there. He was always there. And he said this next part kind of weird. And I'd done a world press tour about how fucked he was as a man. Here's a man who I've done vilified on a grand scale. I turned the knob up on certain shit that wasn't real. My dad never hit me, never. He spanked me once, one time. And the story that gets painted in Honey Boy is that the dude is abusing his kid all the time. LaBeouf called Honey Boy a big woe is me story about how fucked up my father is. LaBeouf admitted to bullshitting his father to get permission to make the film because his dad is still alive. So I guess there are legal ramifications for using a real life still living person in your film. He said, my dad is going to live with this certain narrative about him on a public scale for a very long time, probably the rest of his life. I found this very eye-opening because, this movie came out and we were all told, as he said in press tours and stuff, hey, this is his life. This is how it went down. This is what happened to him. And I thought, wow, this is pretty fucked up. He had some fucked up shit happen. And then now a few years later, because he was right out of rehab with all this stuff. I mean, he wrote it in rehab and then he came right out of rehab. He did go on to say that while writing this, he was in a bad place. He was mad at the world. He was mad at everyone. He was just blaming everyone but himself. It was during his recovery period. I mean, that happens. But he went, at the end of it all, I think that this is, I don't want to sit there and overblow it and say it's so brave. But I think this was admirable that he did this. I mean, not that he made the movie and lied about his dad, but that he came forward. He didn't have to, but he came forward and said, hey, I fucked up, man. That ain't true. I just ruined this person's life that I care about, and he was always loving to me. And for $1, because I was mad.
Yeah.
I don't think he did it for money, but he did it as therapy, and he did it because, hey, I had a chip on my shoulder. I fucking hated everybody, and everything was everybody else's fault. So I wrote this fucking movie. We made it. The movie has been pretty universally applauded, and now he's coming forward and saying, no, it was bullshit. And he does say that not everything in it was bullshit, but the depiction of his father being such a shitbag was. And that's admirable, man, that he came forward and he's just, admitting to that to the world and putting it out there and saying, my bad. He's apparently 600 days sober. That's good too. Good for him. I know that's tough to go through. I mean, I've never been through a major. I quit smoking, which was hard, but I never had major drug issues or anything, so I never had to or alcohol, so I didn't have to quit any of that. But good for him. And it's cool that he realizes he did this and he could have ruined this person's life, and he was humble enough to come forward and say that. What do you think? Do you think this is bullshit? You think it's real? Do you think what do you think is going on here? What's your take on all this?
No, as we're aware, Shia LaBeouf, ever since I think Transformers and Indiana Jones really fucked him up, mentally. He's never been a really stable individual, even during even Stevens and Holes and stuff like that. But he's an individual that is similar to the same trajectory that the dumbass from The Flash, what's his face, was on or is on right now, where Ezra. Yeah, I was trying. Yeah, him. It's the same trajectory where he just did a lot of shit that didn't make any sense. He felt like he was going down a downward spiral, and I think he's an individual that is still problematic a little bit. But I think I like if Ezra Miller does the same trajectory, I'll forgive him. I'm still not seeing The Flash next year, but I'll forgive him. It's just I think Shia LaBeouf made a story. He knew it wasn't entirely truthful, or at least he says it's not entirely truthful. And I think it was John Barenthal's show or something like that, which I didn't know he was doing a show,
Yeah,
but
it was his podcast, The
what
Real Ones, or something like that. I think it's
is
called.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shia LaBeouf is just an individual that he went through a lot of shit. He needed a lot of help. He got the help, and I think he will still be a figure that's very divisive, but at least he's admitting to his shit. He's like, going on like Steve-O's show or something like that, and just unloading everything and just explaining like, look, I had a lot of fucked up shit that happened, and I made this story, and it was unfortunate that I did it, but it doesn't take away from that movie being really good. I mean, as we know, based on true story doesn't always mean based on the actual true story. It just means it was, inspired by or whatever. But
Yeah, but people do, when you have those come out, even though I think everybody knows in the back of their head, based on a true story, they take that shit as gospel. They see famous
yeah,
people doing things and saying things. They're like, oh yeah, of course you're telling the truth. You're famous. You did.
yeah. Like I said, I still enjoy the movie. It's like the founder, the guy about Ray Kroc and the McDonald's. A lot of that shit didn't happen, but I still enjoy it. But
Sure, it's still a good narrative, yeah.
yeah. But I think Shia LaBeouf is going to be an individual that will find his way through Hollywood, and whether he sits back and just continues to do indie films or he goes back to the big budget route, I don't know. But I think he's finally found some kind of hopeful piece to his career that was, I mean, kids get fucked up in Hollywood. Like that's just the unfortunate nature of like the machine. But hopefully Shia LaBeouf comes out this like an honest like Robert Downey Jr. or somebody of that nature where he finally finds something in his career that makes him happy, and that's all that matters. Like I said, I give him a lot of respect for going out there and just unloading everything. When you see that, it's kind of nice. So.
Like I could definitely see him going like the way of, and now this particular person didn't have as much of a downfall as he did, or a downfall at all, but like a Robert Pattinson route, where he's in these big, huge franchise Transformers, and it just kind of breaks him, and he jumps on the indie scene. Now Shia LaBeouf had like the breakdown thing and everything, but then maybe he finds peace with you. You said it perfect. He found peace with himself, peace with his life. And then maybe professionally because the guy can't act. I mean, look at Peanut Butter Falcon and Honey Boy. And what was the war one with Brad Pitt?
Fury. I think Fury. Yeah. I mean, Antonio.
He
brought
can
that
act. Up. The guy, and he's method, like maybe a little bit too far, pulling his teeth out and shit. But he can act. So I mean, maybe he's gonna find that right property. He's gonna have some success with the smaller films, and then jump into like some big thing, and like when he's more mature and he's ready for it. But you're right. When these kids, they get thrown into this stuff. You want to see a really fucked up kid story, or hear one. You mentioned Steve-O's show, Steve-O's Wild Ride. I kind of love that show. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Not everybody was on it, but
I
enjoy the show. I saw the thing with Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman's always kind of, since the 90s up until recently, I've always looked at him as kind of a flake. Because he's seemed kind of flaky, but apparently that guy went through some shit, man. Like he went and like kind of bared it all. He made a movie and everything. There's a really interesting story for him. He made a movie, but you can't see it right now. It's a documentary about him. There's some shit. I think maybe he's a little bit paranoid on some levels, but he went through some fucked up shit. And
hey, when you're groomed by people like Michael Jackson, he went through some shit.
Oh, it was worse than that. Like, Michael Jackson was the least of his problems. Like,
he got like raped and shit. It was real bad.
There was some fucked up shit going on with that kid, unfortunately. And LaBeouf, I don't know if he had to that level, but you're in that machine. You are a piece of meat, and as a child, you don't know how to process that, and the people around you aren't assisting you with that. I mean, or not assisting properly. You don't know how to process all that. So hopefully he's able to come out the other side of this thing, or it seems like he is. He's coming out the other side better. Now we'll see what he does professionally. If we get more great performances from him, and maybe he'll have like kind of a renaissance or a LaBeoufissance. LaBeoufissance is incoming. I don't know. I found this story. I like to hear these things when people that are on top of the world, which I mean, he's had some rough times, but let's be real. His roughest times, he was still doing better than most of us. So financially,
we're talking about
and things like
Transformers
that. Mentally, I'm not taking away from.
Yeah, Transformers and Indiana Jones that's all you need to know at that point.
Yeah,
so
the guy he had his struggles, and I'm not downplaying those. 600 Days Sober is like, that's the legit thing. That's good for him. I'm very happy to hear that. Anytime anybody does it, that is an achievement, because I know that shit is really tough to get out of, especially when it's so readily available to you. when you're in a place like him, and it's okay for you to do that stuff because he can afford to
Yeah.
just fuck off and do whatever. But so it's great that he did that. But even on, and money's not everything. People say money doesn't bring happiness. It does not. But not having money can bring unhappiness. I'll tell you that much. So, and he's been okay there. So, hopefully he comes out the other side and we start getting that Labouffaissance I was talking about. So I am looking forward to that. Good for him. I'm happy to hear. Oh, where I was going with that, I ramble. I'm happy to see that when someone is on top of the world in that way, when they are a higher status than most of us in the public eye, they are humble enough to come forward and say, hey, because nobody was asking for this. Nobody was accusing it. Everybody just took it for granted, took it at face value. He came forward and said, hey, this isn't right. I did this, and I'm admitting my faults. Nobody was calling him out on it. If people were calling him out on it left and right and stuff like that, I'd be like, why are you doing this? But no, he did it of his own reconnaissance, and I think that's good. That shows that he's at least now, he's at least somewhat of a good dude. So that's good to see. I'm happy to see that. Alrighty, moving on to our next story of the day. Before we get into our trailer reaction of this new flick, I'm really interested to see Nick's reaction to. We're going to talk about a video game video game show. Hopefully it's better than Resident Evil that we were talking about a few minutes ago, and that is Twisted Metal. The famed PlayStation video game from, I guess it's been a while since we had an entry in it. Now, this is a series.
PS3.
Was that the last one, the PS3?
Yeah.
Black, I think it was, or no?
Yeah.
Or was it?
No,
okay.
I think it was just called Twisted Metal or some shit.
Well, Twisted Metal started on the PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 in 1995, according to this. So it's been out a while. I've played very little of this game. It just wasn't my car combat type of game. It wasn't my thing back in the day. I'm very aware of it, and like this character we see here in the background, Sweet Tooth, one of the big main characters, good or bad, I don't know, but whenever I see that, I know exactly who it is and that's Twisted Metal. They're working on a show. They're more than just working on it. They're done with it. Twisted Metal writer and executive producer Michael Jonathan Smith, from Cobra Kai, FYI, took to Twitter to announce that filming has wrapped on the post-apocalyptic show. In his words, he put on Twitter, he said, "The cast and crew of Twisted Metal was something special. Even with the lightning delays," the fuck is a lightning delay? Lightning delays, extreme heat, and cars that wouldn't do as they are told, everyone worked as hard as they could to make sure Twisted Metal kicked as much ass as possible. The last day of shooting felt like the last day of camp, with lots of laughs, a few tears, and ice cream being handed out the back of Sweet Tooth's truck. We all cannot wait for you to see this insane thing we spent our summer shooting. Now to post-production. The action comedy series is based on a successful video game franchise that was first released in 1995. How familiar with Twisted Metal are you, Nick? Did you play these games? What do you know about them? Are you looking forward to this show? It is a show, by the way. I'm not sure where it's coming, but it's coming somewhere. But it's a show. Season 1 coming soon. What do you think?
I mean, I'm familiar. I played a few of the games. They're not like my favorite or anything, but this influx of like video game properties is crazy. Like apparently they're making a comic remember that Genesis game or something like that was Comic Zone or some of that nature.
Comic Zone? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Where you
they're making a
from,
TV.
I forgot that.
Yeah, they're making like a TV series of that or some shit.
Really?
I don't know.
How they
Yeah,
do
that's
that?
what I heard. Like Gravity Rush. I don't know.
That could be
like
interesting.
Gravity
you
Rush
jump
is getting
from panel
turned.
to panel throughout the game. Like
Yeah.
It's a pretty neat idea for the game.
Right.
Okay. I mean, we'll see what they do.
But back to Twisted Metal. It's not a. It's like any of these. I've always said, and this is my feeling, when it comes to Twisted Metal is like Need for Speed. You could just, I guess, you could turn it into something. But when I see like Last of Us and see all these video game properties, I just like the movie. The video game's already a movie to begin with, so I don't feel like I need it. Twisted Metal, if it leans into like the comedy, like I keep hearing about, it could be fun. I just don't know if I care. Like I really don't. I don't know if I really care about what's the clown's name again?
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. Thank
by
you.
the way,
Sweet
being
Tooth's
played
like
by Will Arnett.
Is this an animated series or is he just like
No,
this
my
feels
understanding
weird.
is live action. I mean, they like had
Will Arnett,
sets and all that. Will Arnett is playing Sweet Tooth.
if they're leaning, so they better be leaning to the comedy because Will Arnett, if you know anything about him, he is a funny fucking guy.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Will Arnett's
it's
one of the
labeled
funniest
as an
individuals.
action comedy series,
Okay.
post-apocalyptic action comedy series.
Yeah, actually, that might be fun. That might actually be fun. You know what? I'm gonna give
Could
this
be.
a benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna wait to see the first trailer before I really make an assumption. But I don't. I'm at this point where I don't. Video game adaptations are becoming better, but I still haven't seen one that's been totally. Actually, no. Okay, sorry. Wolf Among Us. Is it Wolf Werewolves Within was like one of
Yeah,
the best video game. Yeah, that was a great video game adaptation. But
very loosely based on the
oh yeah,
video
yeah,
game
very
property.
loosely, but it was hilarious. And if this leans into that kind of territory where it's like ultra violent and entertaining and comedic, if Will Arnett leans into the insanity of Sweet Tooth and stuff like that, I think it could be fun. But when you said it was from one of the guys who helped work on Cobra Kai, and I know where Cobra Kai is gone, we'll see.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know if
even
he's
know what
currently on
studios
Cobra
coming with.
Kai.
So.
It said
Yeah.
Michael Jonathan Smith and just says Cobra Kai, so he had some hand in Cobra Kai. But it seems like everybody has hands in Cobra Kai now. Whenever they talk about a new show,
Yeah.
I talked about that on Saturday with the Ferris Bueller show too. But,
It just, I guess in the end, we got to see the trailer before I truly if the
Sure.
trailer looks like shit, I'm gonna be like, I'm good.
Sure. I think this could. I don't know enough. I know that Twisted Metal is a car combat game, and it has I guess a sense of humor. It's not a serious game.
Yeah, it's
you
like
got
David
this-
Jaffe's humor.
Yeah, you got this fucking clown with his head on fire. That he's the main.
Yeah.
It's not a serious game. I get Death Race vibes from it. I could be wrong. I know car combat games were really big in the mid to late '90s and early 2000s, like Vigilant 8 and stuff like that. So that's where it came from. But I think that this could be cool. A post-apocalyptic,
Yeah, it could be
over-the-top action comedy series with shit like this. I'm cool with that. It could be cool. It could suck. Like you, I need to see I need to see the tone of this thing, what the trailer is. I need to see where they're going with it. But it could be cool. It could be fun. If they don't take it too serious and they just have a good time with it, hey, right on. I mean, that could be a cool thing about this being a not obscure, because it was a really big popular property at one point in time. Now that it's some years removed from it, I don't think people are as familiar with it. I don't know what type of lore it has, so maybe it gives them enough wiggle room to kind of do their own thing and not get called out at every turn that, oh, this is not exactly like the game. So
Yeah,
this might be a great property for an adaptation.
Well, here I was looking this up because I really wanted to know where this was premiering at. It's actually developed by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who worked on, of course, Zombieland and Deadpool. But this is premiering on Peacock.
Oh
And
no!
I still haven't watched anything on Peacock that is worth watching. So hopefully this is like a thing that they figure out and make. Like fucking Samoa Joe's in this movie from the from wrestling, and Anthony Mackie's in this, and Richard.
Hey, I like Anthony Mackie, except in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He sucked there, but I like Anthony Mackie usually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's true. Thomas Hayden Church is in this.
Ooh. And it sounds like it's got a stacked cast. So this could be cool. Could be a disaster.
I don't know. It says the premise is a driver takes a job to deliver a package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland, being chased by marauders. So this feels like maybe they're leaning into maybe like Mad Max Fury Road a little bit, maybe.
Hey, I'm down.
I'm trying to be optimistic here, but it's on Peacock. Peacock's fucking terrible.
And if it's over the top action and just like craziness, that could be fun. That could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. As long as they don't try and make it too serious and go into like too much lore and stuff like that. Just have a good time with it. That's what I'm hoping. They just have a kick-ass good time. This could be cool. So, but we'll find out. I mean, they just wrapped production and they're going into post-production now. So I don't know. Probably, I would imagine we'll see a trailer within the next few months, and probably the show a yearish. Somewhere in the next year, depending on how long post-production takes. I don't know. On shows, post-production is usually much quicker, but it depends on how much effects work and everything's going into this thing. We could be seeing it sooner than later, but I guess we'll find out soon. Twisted Metal fans, the show's coming. Are you out there?
Yep.
Hello. Are you a fan of Twisted Metal? Are you looking forward to this? Let us know in the comments below. I mean, I'm remaining not even cautiously optimistic. I think I'm just going to say I'm remaining optimistic on this one. I'm not really cautious. I mean, it's a video game property. They are hit or miss, and we were just talking about Resident Evil, Netflix. But I'm going to remain optimistic. From what they've said so far, I'm down. I'm cool with it. I'm not super excited, but I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to it. I need to see a trailer. Once we see the trailer, I'll be able to make more of a call on this one. But alrighty, so that is all we got. Not all we got. That's the break of the show. This is the middle part. Actually, the final part of the show is going to go a little bit quicker. That's where our smaller stories come into play. But we do have something new for you guys. Or not new. Bam! We got a trailer reaction. You like my new logo?
My god! Ooh, I like, yeah, that's nice stuff. Action. Where's it? You got explosions too, man.
Reaction. Yeah,
you think of everything.
Explosion. I have a video version of it, but this is just a clip from that. Trailer reaction, inbound, coming in hot. I actually had not planned on doing this, but this morning I woke up and I went to put the finishing touches on the show, and bam, this trailer dropped. If you got your ear to the ground, you know what trailer I'm talking about because it just came out this morning. What trailer could we be talking about? We are talking about the Winnie the Pooh trailer, but not just Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Ooh. So yeah, Winnie the Pooh went to public domain here recent, the past few years, right? I guess. And
yeah,
these entrepreneuring filmmakers said, you know what? We want to make a Winnie the Pooh movie, so we don't have to pay for the rights. Everybody knows Winnie the Pooh. Christopher Walken, not Christopher Walken. What's his name? Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
And they said, we want to make a Winnie the Pooh movie, but we want to make a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, Blood and Honey. And we've seen a few pictures of Winnie the Pooh, and that's about it. And they shadow dropped, I don't know, a trailer this morning. And we are going to take a look at that trailer today, right now. And then we're going to react to it. Nick has not, I've seen half of this trailer, and I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get a chance to pay much attention to it. So this will kind of be a firstest watch for me, but it's definitely the first watch for Nick. So let's jump into this trailer for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. If I could get it started. Here we go. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
You know, you're the first person I ever shown this place to.
And why am I so special?
Because soon we'll be Christopher and Mary Robin. You should be close now.
We're not going to find them.
We will. Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, we were friends for many years, and they're out there.
Christopher, we need to leave. Now.
I really need to find out what's happened here, okay?
This place is kind of cool. Did you say it has a pool? We need to go. There's Laura's dead. There's someone else outside. What was that?
We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please? I would have never left, I swear. I swear.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the trailer. Nick.
Yes.
What did you think? Because I know this is the first time you've seen anything about this besides that Winnie the Pooh picture that we've all seen.
Yeah.
What was your take on that first look and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Wow. Sometimes in your life there is a thing that happens where something gets shown to you that just changes your life. Let's say The Simpsons or Teletubbies or Mandy or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the the little maker with like the triangle maker or whatever. And then you get shown this thing. And all I can say is, when's this come out? How quickly can I watch it? And this also looks terrible. I have to see this. This is one of those things where they're just like, what we should do? We should do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre involving some of the most cuddly characters you've ever seen. Even though Winnie the Pooh is a little dark in some of the things it presents. But my God, I need this in my life right now. Everything about it.
I think you summed it up perfectly. I want this so bad, but it also looks bad at the same time.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's trying to be serious. In all honesty,
no, not at all.
I do got questions. I got lots of questions concerning this. We don't know, or I don't think we have a release date as of yet. It just says coming soon at the end of the trailer. And we don't know exactly what the tone of it's going to be. We know the tone of this trailer.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, is that going to be the tone of the actual movie? Because is this going to be like the Banana Splits? Did you see the Banana Splits?
No, I heard about it, though.
Yeah, the Banana Splits was an actual show, like cute, cuddly characters that they went into public domain, and they made a horror movie about it a few years ago. It's all right. I mean, it's fun enough if you go into it knowing what to expect. I did a review of it a few years ago, but I'm wondering, man, just lots of questions. Is the tone going to be like B-movie kind of jovial, like they're in on the joke? Everybody's in on, not everybody in the movie, but the people that are making the movie, is it going to be like dark comedy? Is it going to be serious? Is it going to be just straight slasher?
Did you see the synopsis for it?
No, I have not actually seen the synopsis.
Let me read this to you. They also want to make a sequel that's even more extreme, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yeah, the synopsis is, during his childhood, Christopher Robin befriends Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, and their friends of the forest, playing games and also providing them with food. As he grew, these visits grew more infrequent, or did the food supply, causing Pooh and the others to grow increasingly hungry and desperate. When Christopher went to college, the visits stopped completely, causing Pooh and Piglet to become completely feral and unhinged, resulting in Eeyore and Tigger and others getting killed and eaten at some point. Now Christopher has returned to the forest alongside his new wife, hoping to include her, introduce her to his old friends. This causes them to go on a murderous rampage for human flesh as they antagonize a group of university girls who were occupying a rural cabin. Yes, we need this in our life like right now. This looks amazing. It looks horrifying and terrible, but it looks amazing.
I do want to say that the director, a gentleman named Rise Waterfield. Rise Waterfield, yeah. He's produced a lot, but as far as directing goes, he has directed Go Viral, which is a short. Every single other thing he has directed is in post-production, and there's quite a few.
Okay.
These are 2022 and beyond. Winnie the Pooh does not have a release date on here, so I'm assuming it'll be 2023. But yeah, here's the names of the movies he has in post-production. Post, not pre-post. These films are done shooting. Demonic Christmas Tree.
Nice.
Fernando. I don't know what that is. Sky Monster. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Rise of Loch Ness. And Dinosaur Prison. I think this guy works for Asylum or something. But it did not look, to me, let me give my thoughts away. It did not look high quality.
No, it looks as low budget as you can get.
Not as low budget as you can get, but it did.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. It looked. Yeah.
And I don't think it needs to. It really, this movie is going to live and die by its tone. Are they in on the fucking joke, or are they just trying to be serious about this? If they go that route, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it couldn't work, but I think that they need to be in on the joke, but not to the point to where it's like it needs to be campy, but not like Apex movie or not Apex. That's real old. Asylum level campy. It needs to be campy and self-aware. If it's not,
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
I will say also, I was wondering, is this everything I read said it is Winnie the Pooh? This is Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, but it's not. I look at it and I'm like, it's obviously people with masks. Are they going to end up being actual people in masks? I can't tell. I mean, we don't see enough of the characters to know if the masks articulate or not. But is it actually Winnie the Pooh and he's just gone fucking psycho and he looks like Michael Myers with the Winnie the Pooh mask, or is it just a home invasion flick? I don't know. It looked pretty violent. I'll give it that. Like we see. It looked like a sledgehammer or an axe or something one of the characters takes to the fucking face. From the little flash of it we got, looks pretty good. I was cool with it. I mean, the trailer, I'm really curious to know what the actual tone of this movie is going to be. Before I can say that, it's going to be amazing. It could be amazing. This could be great. Just the idea of a Winnie the Pooh horror movie definitely entices me. And I like the trailer. I fully acknowledge it's not good. But I like what I've seen because I want this to be as campy and over the top and self-aware as it fucking possibly can. Please don't try and make this serious. Please be in on the joke. This could be amazing. What direction do you think it's going to go?
I hope it goes campy. Like I need some camp. I don't want this to be serious at all. I want this to be. I mean, will it be serious in the simple fact of like, over the top and are we going cabin in the woods or cabin fever, or are we going Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween? Where I don't know. I feel like they should go towards like the cabin fever era.
Yeah, I'm even cool with it having a serious tone as long as that tone has that cynicism and like that. Like they know, like it's a serious tone, but it is done like we're in on it. We know this is ridiculous. I'm even cool with that because sometimes serious tone films, if shot right, can be funny as hell. They can be hilarious. The Room,
right?
I mean, things like that. But really, the main, I mean, yes, the look of the movie. There are certain shots in the trailer that I'm like, ooh, that looks really low budget and bad. But you know what? I like me some low-budget movies sometimes. However, the thing that has me the most worried, admittedly, is this guy's filmography, that he has 52 movies in post-production right now, and all of them have names like Dinosaur Prison and Sky Monster. I'm like, oh, shit. These are the kind of movies he makes. That is the only thing that gets me worried. But you know what? Every now and then, even these like third-rate companies that put out like Asylum and all that put these movies out, they come out with a great one. You get a Sharknado in there somewhere, Didn't like Sharknado.
It's good. No. I've seen this. I've seen some filming of Sharknado in Orlando. So I'm not a fan of like sci-fi shit. So like that. So no, but I get the appeal.
Well, there's not much more to say. I mean, it looks like this could be a really good time. I mean, just based on the trailer. The trailer is effective. It lets us know that, this is going to be bloody. Lots of big-titted, beautiful women running around, which who doesn't love that?
Right.
The people in this show do, I'll tell you that much. If you don't, hey, to each his own. But big-titted women running around getting hacked up by a cuddly teddy bear. What doesn't sound like you wouldn't love that? Could be good. We'll find out sometime soonish, I guess. Like I said, there's no release date as of now.
Yeah, right.
You got anything else to say about this tour de force of filmmaking here?
No, just bring it on. I'm ready. I need it in my life.
Yeah, that's about where I am. So, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, ladies and gentlemen. What'd you think? Did you like the trailer? I know we didn't have a lot to say, but the trailer there wasn't a lot there. I mean, it's fucking Winnie the Pooh horror edition. I mean, okay. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of that, and hope you guys enjoyed our little trailer reaction of some Blood and Honey. Alrighty. Let's get into the rest of the show. Got 3 more stories for you guys today. I honestly can't remember what they were. Oh, yeah, this next one. This is one, Nick, you've been looking forward to this. This is the story you have been waiting for. This is the news that is going to get you hyped. This is the news that is going to make you say, I got to walk away and go to the bathroom for a minute. Tusk 2. Is Kevin Smith making Tusk 2 Tusk harder? He could be, Nick. He could be. And I know you love Tusk so much. We'll hear about your thoughts about Tusk in a moment and how much you're looking forward to this movie. But real quick, let me give you guys some facts. Get the fuck out of here. Kevin Smith is apparently aiming to make the Tusk 2 a reality. I don't know why it says the Tusk, but Tusk 2 a reality. Justin Long, who starred in Tusk, said, "You'll be happy to hear," this was on a show, an interview, "You'll be happy to hear Kevin Smith just announced, well, I mean, I guess they're talking about it. They're doing Tusk 2, I think." Long continued, "He texted us all the other day, Haley Joel Osment and Genesis Rodriguez, they were also in the film, and he told us that he wanted to do it. And I thought it was a joke. And then I realized he was being serious." Now, on in another interview, Kevin Smith a little while back said, "There's a version of Tusk 2 that you do where you cut to the present and somebody else gets sucked into the spider's web. The house, you hear stories. When you get to the house, the new Howard Howe is Wallace," which was Justin Long's character, the guy who turned into a walrus in the first movie, spoiler alert, "who has gotten out of the walrus trappings and stuff and is obviously disturbed by his entire ordeal and is now doing it to others. So there's a way to do Tusk 2 where Justin becomes Michael Park's character. Wallace becomes sort of the new Howard Howe." Howard Howe was Michael Park's character. Michael Park, unfortunately, great actor. He passed away a few years ago, so he obviously will not be in it, and he died in the end of the first movie. But Nick.
Yes.
Nick.
Yes,
Tusk
I'm here.
and Tusk 2. What do you think?
I'm just trying to.
I knew you were looking for something.
Yeah, you can talk about the story if you want. This movie fucking sucks. The first movie was one of the biggest pieces of shit I've seen in quite a while, and no joke, I am a huge Kevin Smith fan. I really am. Like Clerks and Mallrats and Chasing Amy. Chasing Amy, I think is legit like one of the great like dramatic comedies of all time. I really do. I think it's a perfect little indie film. Yeah, Dogma, which I've grown to love, even though it has a shit monster in it.
How could you? That's why you should love it.
yeah, I guess. Dude, I'm not even joking, and this is all honest seriousness. I was looking forward to this movie just based on like this idea that Kevin Smith just found this as he was smoking weed, and he just found a story or he was talking about it on his podcast, and he decided to make a movie about it. The cast they got for this movie: Michael Parks, Justin Long, Haley Joel Osment, for the most part Johnny Depp. I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Oh yeah, I forgot Johnny Depp was in it.
Yeah, he plays like the French detective or some bullshit. But when I watched this movie, I just realized that maybe Kevin Smith is just not a director that I think is on my level anymore. I think the movies he makes now are for potheads and for, I mean, I guess potheads isn't a bad thing, but I just think he's making movies that appeal to him and his audience than he is, for like the people that love Kevin Smith for what he was doing. And I know he's doing true, like, like most of his movies only cost like, $5 to $7 million now, but it's like, I watched Tusk and I know what it's trying to go for, but it's so great. It's so grating. It just, first half of that movie, awesome. And then the whole Tusk thing comes on. I'm like, I just can't. Like, I like Red Notice for what it's worth, but this movie, making a sequel to this movie just hurts my heart. Like, no.
Well, I liked Tusk.
I know you did.
I actually liked Tusk and thought it was just off-center enough that I enjoyed, which is saying something. I do think it was the last Kevin Smith movie, I could be wrong, that actually looked like a real movie. Like, many of his movies look cheaper now. It's like the older he gets, the cheaper his movies look. I'm not saying they're all bad, but like I didn't like Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I love all the other VSQ stuff before that, but I didn't like that. Yoga hosers, things like that. His quality really went down. Yeah, I know he makes movies on the cheap and all that, but Tusk was looked like it cost money. It looked like a legit movie.
Yeah.
And just the whole crazy out there premise, I really enjoy. It clicked with me. I liked it. It is really off kilter. I suggest anybody check it out. It's not for everybody, but this idea of the whole guy getting out of the tusk or out of the walrus suit and going back to the world and starting to do this to other people, I want to see it. I need this in my life. I know you don't want to see it, and there's probably a lot of other people who are like, fuck this movie. I am not a big Kevin Smith supporter anymore because he's been saying some dumbass shit, but even beyond that, his movies have been taking a downfall. Some of the ones I've seen, but I want to see this. I want to see what he does with it. It is off kilter enough. Even if it sucks, I want it to be made. I'm looking forward to seeing this. And that everybody who was involved that's still around is game, just is all the more reason. I want to see Justin Long. I want to see what he looks like outside of the... Since he had all that shit done to him in the movie. What is he? He'd be fucking horrifying. I want to see what he'll look like outside of the suit and how he's getting people in this house and doing this crazy shit to him and what happens with it. It could be fucking terrible. I don't know. It probably will be fucking terrible. But as far as the first one, I enjoyed it.
Glad you enjoy it. That's all that matters. As long as you enjoy it, Jacob, that's all that matters.
I agree because this is my show. So
exactly.
We're a Tusk-friendly show here, okay? But no, Tusk. Like I said, it is not for everybody. It has a very odd ending. The whole movie's fucking odd, but I really enjoyed it, and I want to see the second one. Now, once again, Justin Long did say they're talking about it. I mean, he went on to say that it's happening. But they're talking about it. Nothing has been confirmed. This is not 100%. But it could be. It's out there. People are talking about Tusk 2. People that make the movie are talking about Tusk 2, so it could happen. And who knows when, how long we got until it comes out, if it does come out. But we could be getting some more Tusk in our future. So mark it on your calendar
boy.
somewhere.
Boy.
I'm sure Nick is just he's so excited about it. He's downplaying.
I've already bought my ticket.
He loves Tusk. But how about you guys out there in movie land? Let me know. What do you guys think about this news? Are you looking forward to a Tusk sequel? Did you enjoy the first Tusk? Were you like me? You thought it was just enough off-center that it was interesting? Or were you like Nick and was like, fuck this movie, I fucking hate it? Let us know in the comments below. And Tusk 2, Tusk Harder, coming soon. They didn't say it was called Tusk Harder. That's all me. Every sequel that we don't know the name to ever since Die Hard 2 is harder. Okay, so on to the next thing the next odd story I decided to pull out. Actually, this is odd, but it's not Tusk 2 odd. Baltimore. You ever been to Baltimore there, Nick?
I have not.
You have not. I have. I used to live in Washington, D.C. It's not too far from Baltimore. Spent quite a bit of time in Baltimore. It's a neat little city. Nice little city.
I bet.
Natalie Portman. We like Natalie Portman. We're a Natalie Portman friendly show here.
We are.
I like Natalie Portman, except for, Thor Love and Thunder. That movie sucked. But Natalie Portman, great actress. She is currently filming a show called Lady in the Lake. But they've run into a few problems. They actually had quite a few problems on the making of this movie. We're not getting into all those. They had a lot of casting issues. People went and came. But more recently, they had to shut down production, and some odd things have come up. And this is one of the more odd movie, like real-world movie stories that a production has come across, and I wanted to talk about it. Lady in the Lake creator, Alma Harrell, which coincidentally was the director, I believe she is the director of Honey Boy, which we were talking about earlier in the show. But
yeah.
Alma Harrell tweeted, "The safety and security of our crew, cast, vendors, production partners are of paramount importance. Production will resume with an increased security procedures going forward. Harrell continued, I wanted to post this to say it has been a privilege shooting Lady in the Lake in Baltimore. Let me celebrate the beautiful people of Baltimore who came to set to sit with me by the monitor. Our thanks and appreciation to Mayor Brandon M. Scott, the Baltimore Film Office, Maryland Film Office, and the Baltimore Police Department for their incredible support as we continue production in the great Baltimore and surrounding areas. Now, Nick, that's all the great stuff. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But why do you think that she would just tweet all this out? Why would she just randomly tweet out these things about safety concerns and great people? Sounds like they're leaving.
Yeah, it sounds like they may be moving because things might be not safe in Baltimore. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking logically here.
Yes, people, you heard it right. It is not always sunny in Baltimore. Apparently, they are leaving. Whether they're leaving Baltimore or not, we don't know, and you'll know why here in just a moment. Lady in the Lake. The Lady in the Lake crew was filming around 4 p.m. Eastern Time in the downtown area when the producers were approached by several people. The group claimed if they didn't stop filming, they would come back and shoot someone. However, no violence would occur if producers paid them an undisclosed amount of money. Now, it was later reported that the extortionists were drug dealers who were asking or were seeking $50,000 from the production. And then, Friday afternoon, now I do want to say this next part, they made it seem like this was 2 separate occurrences. And I'm pretty sure it was. I just want to put that out there. If this was the same occurrence and they just worded it differently, then, my bad. But they made it sound as if this 2 separate occurrences. Later, Friday afternoon, on the Baltimore set of our production, Lady in the Lake, prior to the arrival of the cast and crew, per their call time, a driver on our production crew was confronted by 2 men, one of whom brandished a gun directed at our driver, and then they fled the location. Production will now continue in a new location. So they out. They said, fuck this shit.
We out like gout, man.
These motherfuckers are too hard for us. We Hollywood. They hardcore gangsta out here. But yeah, apparently the natives or Baltimore natives came out in force and said, give us money. They're drug dealers, so I'm assuming maybe that was like their corner or something. They're like, we losing money. We losing about $50,000 a day. So you're going to give us $50,000 to make up for our money we lost. I don't know. Whatever the reason, they came out with guns. In other words, Baltimore, they don't play. And they do not. I can say that. Living in D.C., and D.C. was hard. When I lived in D.C. in the 90s, D.C. was rough. Baltimore was rough too. FYI.
Baltimore's like one of the most dangerous cities in the country.
It is. Now, this is when I lived in D.C. when they labeled it the murder capital of the world. I find that hard to believe when you have people in third world countries, kids walking around with AK-47s. But that is what they called it at the time. And Baltimore was still kind of like, damn. Yeah. But so, yeah, Baltimore ain't playing. They are telling Lady in the Lake and Natalie Portman, give us your money or we finna shoot somebody. What the fuck is wrong with the world, Nick? What the fuck? And also, what the fuck is wrong with this production company not having some better security up in there? Security! I mean, damn. I thought they had like security out the ass at these things. Somebody multiple times in the same goddamn day, people bust up in there with fucking guns and they're able to get away. How does this happen? You actually know a little bit more than the movie making biz than I do. How is this happening here, man?
Dude, the security that they hire is not always what I would call. It's not police. It's like, people that don't have guns, and there's a reason they don't have guns for protective purposes. But I mean, I guarantee you shit like this happens all the time. There's a lot of, when it comes to production filmmaking, they go to real world areas, and a lot of this shit is thrown under the rug because people are, it's, real life people extorting money from a production. And the fact that they had to leave Baltimore should show you that how dangerous filmmaking can be sometimes. I mean, it's.
Well, now I do want to say they did not say specifically they were leaving Baltimore. They just it said production will now continue in a new location. Now, it made it sound like in the tweet that they out. I think someone in the chat said it's time to pack up and go. Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's time to go, people. When the first time happened, it's time to get your shit together and go, everybody. Either that or give them the fucking money. I don't know, but something needs to happen here.
Exactly.
But, yeah, this is fucking crazy. You can't even make a movie nowadays. And they coming in and trying to get money from you. That's fucking insane. So they have not disclosed what their new location is, obviously. I mean, I get that. Whether it is in Baltimore, another part of Baltimore, or if they've just left Maryland and Baltimore altogether, which is what I would fucking do. If I was part of the cast, I'd be like, nope, not doing it. Hell no. We need to go somewhere. We going to Detroit where people are civil. I don't know, but they have they're not there. Wherever they were, this place, they're not there now, and because the drug dealers said, "Fuck you, get off our corner."
Get off my corner.
This is fucking crazy. This is some of The Wire shit. But
exactly.
Yeah, that's the movie making. That's the raw part of the movie making business. Everybody, you think making movies is easy? Hell no. You got to be gangster. You got to be hardcore. Get up in the thug life. That's what fucking Natalie Portman. That's the Natalie Portman we needed. That SNL skit. She needed to come out.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I'm on a gag, motherfucker. That's what we needed from Natalie Portman. Needed to bust up in there like that, shaved head and everything. They would have said, "My bad, Princess Amidala, back the fuck up. We cool. We cool."
All she had to do was say, "You remember The Professional?" Yeah, motherfucker. I was in The Professional. I was with Jean Reno, motherfucker. He blew himself up to protect me.
Hell yeah.
Hard.
She need to get hard. She knows how to snipe motherfuckers. He showed her how to snipe a fucking whatever. Yeah, so yeah, Natalie Portman's new Lady in the Water, or Lady in the Lake. I'm sorry, Lady in the Water is a Shyamalan thing. Lady in the Lake, if you've been looking forward to it, might have a little bit of a delay there because, they've been extorted by drug dealers. It happens. It's just a thing. Tell us what you guys thought of this. Anybody out there live in Baltimore? Is this a common occurrence? Are you like going, you work at Chick-fil-A in downtown and they're like, stop selling motherfucking chicken sandwiches or we're going to finna come in here and shoot motherfuckers. Oh, shit. Or pay us $250. I mean, is this a normal occurrence? Is this just Baltimore life? Like I said, I've been there plenty of times. Never lived there. We lived in D.C. where decent folk were. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story, ladies and gentlemen. Baltimore. They crazy.
Sticking to it.
They crazy as fuck over there. All right. On to our last story of the day. And this is one I have no idea how you'll feel about this, Nick. So let's just jump right into it. Beverly Hills Cop 4, isn't it 4? I think it's 4. Beverly Hills Cop
4.
Axel Foley is what it is titled. Is finally moving forward. They've been talking about this movie since the fucking 90s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like
they
a
actually
long
filmed
time.
a pilot. They filmed a pilot for a TV series that was never shown.
Oh, they did? I did not know that. I remember it was in
Yeah.
the works to be a show at one point. I didn't know they actually shot it. But, yeah, it's finally happening, everybody. Yay. It's about 20 years too late, but whatever. Netflix's long in development Beverly Hills Cop sequel is moving ahead. Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley has cast Taylor Page and Joseph Gordon-Levitt in roles opposite Eddie Murphy in the new film. Eddie Murphy will be, he'll have a walker. Originally, Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley was going to be made for Paramount. However, the film moved to Netflix and seemed to be stuck in some sort of limbo. It was in limbo long before that. Now it appears that things are moving ahead nicely, with Mark Molly on board to direct the film. So they got a director too. A release date for Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley has not yet been announced. So yeah, that's all we got on it. We don't really know what the story is. I imagine it'll be pretty much like the other Beverly Hills Cop stories were. What are your thoughts on this? What are your takes? Are you a Beverly Hills Cop fan? We've never really talked about Beverly Hills Cop. You a fan of them? What'd you think of the previous ones? How do you think this is going to go? And Mark Molly, I don't know what he's done. Are you familiar with his work?
I'm looking it up right now. It's written by Andre Nemec and Josh Applebaum, who have done some stuff. But I'm assuming Joseph Gordon-Levitt's playing like Judge Reinhold's son or something like that. I hope Judge Reinhold pops up in this movie. I can't remember if Hector Elizondo or the other guy will show. I can't remember if they're even still alive. But here's
I
how
think
here's
he's
how
passed
Beverly
away. I could be wrong.
has he. Yeah, maybe so.
Wasn't he on a TV show, like a procedural drama,
I can't remember.
like NCI or I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, John Ashton's still alive. He's the one that played one of the original guys.
Oh, okay.
Beverly Hills Cop, to me, is one of the greatest action comedies of all time. It literally is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my time. The whole opening sequence to that movie, where it's just Axel Foley trying to sell cigarettes, and then like he gets involved with like a cop chase sequence with the truck, it's hilarious. And then Beverly Hills Cop 2, which is directed by Tony Scott, is actually underrated. I think it's a pretty great movie. Beverly Hills Cop 3, unfortunately, we won't discuss that one because
we don't talk about Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah, we don't talk about John Landis's involvement with that. But Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 they're fantastic. Paul Reiser's fantastic in those movies too. But Beverly Hills Cop 4, I have to wait to see the trailer. Like I said, we sometimes they'll hit gold with like Top Gun Maverick, which is what Paramount's going for with this. They're trying to do a Top Gun Maverick type scenario.
Yeah, this is.
I guarantee you, when Top Gun Maverick hit $1 billion, they're like, you know what? Let's revive Beverly Hills Cop because people love old stuff. You don't know much about this. Like, there's not really much to talk about.
There is one thing.
Gordon.
I think maybe I didn't. This is a Netflix thing.
Oh, is it?
It was at Paramount.
Oh.
It was going to be made at Paramount originally, but it moved to Netflix a few years back. It's been in limbo for some time.
Is it a movie or a show?
It just says sequel. It just says Beverly Hills Cop sequel. Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. It does not say if it's a show or movie. I assume movie because typically if it was a show it would say series or something like that. But yeah, it just says Netflix long in development Beverly Hills Cop sequel.
Okay, well either way, I'll keep optimism for this before I can kind of.
I mean, it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which he's usually solid. He's not. I mean, he's in like Project Power with Netflix, which was fine. I mean, it wasn't terrible. So I mean, he's usually pretty solid. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't play Judge Reinhold's son. Just play a different character. He can be that character essentially, but the new version. But just play. Everything doesn't have to be somebody's son or uncle or mother's sister's former hairdresser's second roommate.
Will Bronson Pinchot show back up?
I'd take that. Is that guy still around?
Oh yeah. He's still around.
Doesn't he like tearing paper? Crossover, motherfuckers.
Langoliers. Good old Langoliers. Actually, his acting partner in Perfect Strangers is actually in She-Hulk, which I thought was kind of funny.
We don't talk about She-Hulk either. Anyway, myself, I am a fan of Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. Part 3, I don't think Beverly Hills Cop 3, from what I remember, I haven't seen that movie in probably decades at this point.
Dude, I watched it recently. It's fucking awful.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't remember it being...
It's bad to the sense of like they kill off his lieutenant friend, the captain or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then he goes to L.A. and it's about a fucking Disney-like park and like.
I do remember that because there's like a Fox character named Axel.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's embarrassingly. Even Eddie Murphy's like, I don't know why I made this shit.
Gotcha. Well, I remember thinking it was It wasn't as good as the other ones. Yeah. It was only rated PG-13 too, I think, if I remember correctly.
No, it was R. It was rated R.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well, it needs to be R. I don't remember it being that great. I do remember Part 1 and Part 2. I love those movies. I thought they're fantastic. The whole part, I think it's Part 1, where he goes to the fancy restaurant and he's trying to get a hold of. I can't remember the guy's name. He's acting like it's the 80s view of like a gay guy, and he's like asking him about the herpes simplex and stuff like that. I got my tests back. I need to speak with him. That was great. I mean,
it has I think it is Chris Rock or Damon Wayans as the guy gives him the bananas. He puts it in the tailpipe.
Yeah, it's one of the. I think it's Damon Wayans. But yeah,
Yeah, shit's funny.
You couldn't do that comedy now. That's the thing is,
No.
I don't know if the comedy from Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 and even 3 you could do today. So I'm kind of like, what direction is this going to be? Because that movie is very R-rated. It was raunchy, and it was I give no fucks. It was his raw, like his raw days when Eddie Murphy was at his peak. Eddie Murphy is not at his peak anymore. So,
Well, I mean, think about this Coming to America 1 and 2. Think about the difference between those two films.
exactly.
That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Exactly. I just hope we don't get the Coming to America or Coming to America version of. I forgot all about that fucking movie
Everybody did. Nobody remembers that shit.
because it sucked. But the Coming to America version of Beverly Hills Cop 4, I'd rather them just don't do it then. If that's what it's going to be, just don't do it. I'd rather you just don't have it. But there it is, folks. That's all we got on that. Beverly Hills Cop 4 is happening either way. So if you're looking forward to Beverly Hills Cop, it's coming out on Netflix. I mean, they got a director, they got actors, they got all that stuff. So get ready. If you're a fan, it's coming at some point and sometime in the future. Alrighty, everybody. That's the show. That's all I got. I got nothing else. But yeah, unless there was something you wanted to talk about this week, Nick, that I didn't bring up.
Let me find a picture real quick.
No, get the fuck out of here. He's gonna pop up.
No, I don't have anything. Yeah, I'm good for the moment.
Pac-Man again. But yeah, that's the show, everybody. I appreciate you guys all coming by. Check out all of our socials. Check Nick out over at the Pleasure Emporium. What you got going over there this week, Nick?
I've been honking for Jesus, so I got that going on. There's a movie called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, which it is what it is. It's okay. I'm working on the next episode for the Fifth Dimension. I think that's all I have. The stuff I can't talk about right now is for next week. But yeah, right now that's the only things I really got. I'm working a lot of hours, so it's hard to keep balance of doing both. So
I hear you. Well,
yeah.
I don't have anything forthcoming right now that I can talk about, much like Nick. There is one thing for next week, and I've got a couple of things I'm considering doing. I'm hoping that this Saturday, by the way, check out the next show, Almost Awesome episode 16, that will be this Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern, or 2 o'clock Central Time. Check that out. I'm thinking that we're going to do a review of I hesitate to call them bad movies. Let's just say lesser viewed movies. Interesting films that you may have forgotten about or you probably never even knew about this one. But if we talk about the movie, I'm hoping we'll talk about it. It's something. That's for damn sure. It's an interesting one. And Nick and our guest have not seen it. And I've seen bits of it. And I cannot wait for them to see it if we go down that road. Because it looks epic of epicness. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, we plan on doing one of those reviews coming this Saturday and whatever other news is going on in the world, and hope that you guys will all join us there. I do very much appreciate you guys joining us today. Nick, I appreciate you being able to come on today as usual. Nick, as usual.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's fun.
And,
always fun. So
hope you guys enjoyed the show and all the stories that we had to talk about. Hope I educated some of you. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this, and if you missed any of the show, I'll be putting out bite-sized versions of these stories over the course of the next few days, starting with the Blood and Honey trailer reaction that will be coming out this afternoon here in just a little while. But that's all I got. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We will see you all in a couple of days. 2 days? 3 days? Saturday. See you then. Bye.